Hi, I'm going to refute the claim made by Lisandro about the high-speed rail revitalizing the economy of California through creating jobs, the uses of land, and increasing California's productivity. And I claim that the opposite will happen, that we cannot support these jobs. The land, that we're going to be using a lot more land that he claims and be displacing a lot more people, and that California's productivity will not increase. My first claim will be on the jobs. While there will be the claim is that there will be 160,000 construction jobs, 600,000 one-year jobs, and 450,000 permanent jobs. However, the budget does not support these jobs, and we don't have the job population to construction job population to have these, to actually have these jobs. The construction job population is about 550 compared to the 600,000 that is claimed, and California's workers are not skilled enough to support that that claim, and will most likely be imported from somewhere else. It also takes at least $1 million to support three jobs. The budget that we have that is being proposed for this project will be between $40 billion and $80 billion, which will support 120 and 240 jobs. In order to support 600,000 jobs, we need at least $200 billion, which cannot be supported by this economy. His second claim is that the land will be used effectively by using unused parking lots and unused buildings and empty spaces and stuff like that. However, there is a claim that from the Central Valley farmers' protests and 5 reasons of why we shouldn't build this high-speed rail, that many people will be displaced, including farms and businesses and homes. At least 450 homes will be displaced in one sitting alone. And this track will go on from San Diego to Sacramento and San Francisco, which means the track is at least 520 miles long. And hence, people want alternate routes so that way less people will be displaced. His last claim is that the productivity will be increased and traffic congestion will be lowered. However, millions of people will most likely not be riding this high-speed rail due to the fact that of the convenience of a car and how fast an airplane is compared to a high-speed rail. It is much too optimistic. The time getting to the station can be compared to waiting to get on an airplane, because the 24 stations that are being built will most likely be out of the way of the people who will use it. And the speed of the train is much slower than that of a commercial airplane. The top speed of the train is 220 miles, which will make the average 115 miles per hour, compared to the average speed of a commercial airline, which is over 500 miles. In conclusion, the high-speed rail is not needed and will damage our economy.
All right, the structural things are set up pretty well. You do seem to be going with a counterclaim on the individual points, and your counterclaims tend to be directed toward the claim that the advocate was presenting, as opposed to being disadvantage arguments. Rather, they seem to talk about the cost issues, for instance, or for the main issue that you have on the first point is the number of jobs. You claim that the number of jobs is going to be less than what's listed, but your explanation about why that is true is not as clear as it needs to be. At one point, you had a comparison between the jobs. It's not 500. It's 550,000 as opposed to 600,000. And going, okay, well, those are relatively close. Why does it matter? What's going on here? And you make a kind of a workability argument that says the California workers may not always have the skills that are necessary for these particular jobs. So does that mean that we create jobs that are going to be taken by people who are imported to California to be able to do this? That would seem like it would undermine the justification for putting this into place to begin with. The calculation about how much it would be for the individual jobs assignments based on a $40 to $80 billion budget was okay. But again, I think we need a little bit more comparison to the advocates' evidence on these points. How many thousands of jobs are they saying that's going to happen? You basically say that no, I'm sorry, I got a little bit lost on that particular point. There's an argument about displacement of jobs, and that one I think there's some potential on, but it doesn't really get developed, and you don't tell us what we're supposed to do with it. And I think that that's a little bit problematic. The discussion of alternatives to the high-speed train, that would seem to suggest that the cost estimates are actually going to be higher in the long run because we're going to have to subsidize riders for a period of time, and that argument needs some evidence for it. Then you do talk about the lack of ridership and some potential problems that are going on there. That I think needed to be. You had some information there about how fast they're going to go in comparisons to airplane. The only question is, can airplanes move as many people, or will we have to move that as many people as the train hopes to be able to move? There seems to be a big assumption there in the justification for the high-speed rail in the first place. So. You might want to look at the original premise there of the advocate's argument. All right, sorry.